Hello, welcome back to Herbies Garage. Today we're on the 2002 Honda GL1800 Goldwing. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to take the fender off, all of this chrome stuff off the sides, take the brakes loose, I guess, and I'm going to end up pulling the wheel. And I'm probably going to go ahead and change the tire on it. I haven't got it yet, but it should be here tomorrow, so I mean, you won't notice in the video because I'll just shut it off and pick back up whenever I get my tire, and we'll get that installed. And we're going to check this morning for play in the forks and in the wheel for the wheel bearings as well. See what that steering wobble is. I think it's just the tire, but it could be other things as well. I do have it jacked up in the front. I have it on the center stand, have a little bit of pressure on the engine, raising the front end up off the ground so I could work on it. So let's go ahead and get started. I think we'll take this fender off first. I worked on that fender with the buffer the other day, and I got that scuff all out except for that little bit. I couldn't get it back in there close enough, so now I'm going to work on that sometime today. Looks like his tab is broke off on this upper part. Let's see what else we got on there. I think there's a couple in the back. I got this big old horse in my room in here, but boy, it takes up almost the whole room. Wish they had a bigger shop to work in, but as long as I can work on it and kind of get out of the weather, that's the main thing. Whoa. I'll have to see how much it costs for this dress-up kit. I may just get a new kit to put on it if it's not too much money. In the hole. Ah, see, this tab broke off right there. Let's go ahead and take the brake caliper off of it. We'll kind of push the piston in a little bit. We'll have to check those shoes out, see what they look, the pads. Those pads look almost new. Glad I didn't order any. I was going to, because I think them pads are going to be good. All right, from the looks of this, it looks like we need to take this bolt out and this bolt out. So we'll try to break this one loose first. And then we'll try to break this one. Oh my goodness. Whew. Let's see if it'll come out. Try to compress that piston a little bit. Alright, looks like that come out. Maybe I didn't even need to take that bolt out. Probably just had to take it loose maybe, in order to get the wheel off anyway. Alright, we'll just leave that hang like that. Alright, then we'll break these 12mm bolts loose. The heads of them are 12mm. And we just want them loose. Then we'll take this cap, bolt, nut, whatever you want to call it, off of it. This is a 22mm. Okay, so we got that out. Now we'll come back on the other side, the left side of the bike. Break these loose. Okay, now that axle should be ready to pull out. Alright, now we should be able to pull the axle out. I got me just a Phillips screwdriver. Yeah, it does have a line on it. Looks like it was in just a little bit from the line. Now I'm going to hold up on the wheel. Wow, that's pretty stiff. Wow, that wasn't too easy. Okay, then we got a spacer on the left side of the bike. And we've got a spacer on the right side of the bike. You can tell they're different. The bigger one goes on the right side, the smaller one goes on the left side. And then we'll roll the wheel out. Well, I made a little bit of a mistake. I was going to check my play in my wheel bearings before I took my wheel out, and I forgot. So I'll have to check them out with the wheel out, but we're going to check for the play and the fork bearing in the steering stem bearing. We're just lifting up, pulling out on these forks. I don't feel anything. Before I get started here, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of grease on this axle. Before I install the wheel. I want a little bit up here too on this flange up here, because this is going to be inside of the fork leg. Okay, before we roll the wheel in there, we want to put the bushings in. The bigger, thicker one, wider one, goes on the right side of the bike, which is this side. It's my left. It's the right side of the bike, and this goes on the left side of the bike. And we'll roll the wheel in. Move the calipers out of the way. Alright. And then once we get it to where we want it, we'll go ahead and slide the axle in. Just enough to where it's right at the edge of the housing of the fork leg. Okay, and I'll shove it through. Okay. All right, now that I've got the wheel axle put in all the way, I want to make sure it's bottomed out. It's all the way in. So I want to take, then I'll take my axle nut. I'm just going to put a little thread locker on it too. The book doesn't call for that, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's not going to hurt anything because it will come back loose again. Okay, let me get the torque spec. Okay, the torque spec is 43. Okay, the torque spec is 43 foot-pounds. So there's 40, there's 3. Okay. And the axle is spinning. So I'm going to put a screwdriver in the hole on the other side. I'm going to hold it. And this should pull the axle all the way in. This axle is supposed to be all the way this way before we tighten any pinch bolts. So we'll go ahead and tighten that down. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put these pinch bolts back in. Now these, I don't really think I need thread locker on it because it's got the pressure of the fork when you're squeezing it to kind of hold it. You know what I mean? When you squeeze that fork together, it's split at the bottom, and when you squeeze it together, the force of that material is forcing back on the bolt, and it won't allow it to come loose. At least it shouldn't. Okay, now these pinch bolts on this side, we need to torque down to 16 foot-pounds. Okay, there's 15, there's 16. And I like to go back and forth because when you're pinching together something like that, whenever you tighten one, the other one loosens up. So you kind of go back and forth until whenever it clicks, the bolt doesn't move. And when you get that on both of them, you know you got it right. Bolt didn't move, bolt didn't move. So I'm right on the torque. Okay, so now we're going to spread the pads a little bit to make this easier to install. Try to collapse the piston just a little bit. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to put some thread locker on these bolts for sure. Okay, then this gets torqued to 23 foot-pounds. There's 20, and there's 3. Okay, there's 23 foot-pounds. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and re-grease this bolt and re-put some thread locker on the threads. And then we'll spread these pads. We'll go ahead and spread these pads to make this go easier as well. Okay, then we'll line that up. Put the bolt in it. Okay, this pivot bolt is supposed to be 23 foot-pounds as well. Okay. I'm going to take this bolt back out. Put some thread locker on them. Okay, this joint bolt is supposed to be 19 foot-pounds. Seems like the wheel's rolling good and free. We'll go ahead and we'll put this lower bracket on it, pinch bolts, get it ready. We're not going to set these yet, but we're going to get this ready. So I'll just run that down to where it's snug. What we need to do on this, according to the book, is I need to take it off of the jack stand, and I need to push the brake to engage the brake, and then we need to push up and down on the front end a little bit. I guess that's going to set it, and then we'll tighten it down. So let me make sure it's got brakes first. I'll pump them up. Yeah, they hold good and they release good. So brakes are working fine. All right, I'm gonna lower the jack down. Whoa, that's a little bit too quick. We don't need this anymore. Let me pull this back. I'll sit on this. And the book says to hold the brake, push up and down on it, on the forks a few times to seat that front axle. Okay, now once I have it seated, now I can tighten it. Okay, as you can see, that line that's in the axle, that is kind of the alignment line. Mine is perfectly on that line. Okay, now I'm going to set this to 16 foot-pounds to tighten these. That's our next step. And like I say, I go back and forth on them. That didn't move. That didn't move, so that's torqued. Okay, now I'm going to put this chrome piece on. Put a little bit of thread locker on those. And this goes on like right there. Now when you put these bolts in here, it's easy to get the bolts confused. Just make sure the shoulder on the bolt is not sticking out past your material here. That shoulder's on there so you don't crush and break this. So it comes right to the edge of this. It's nice and flat. And then we'll put a little bit of thread sealant on this, thread locker. We'll line this up and we'll put the bolts in. All right, and these two bolts here will be the fender bolts. Okay, now I'll put these on. Put a little bit of thread locker on it. Okay. Okay, now we'll go ahead and put this fork brace on here. Perfect. I just tighten it with my hand like this. I don't put it at the end of my ratchet because I don't want to break the bolts off. We call that hand tight or wrist tight. I think wrist tight is the proper terminology. All right. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put some thread locker on these bolts. Line that up. There's a couple things you got to line up on that. You got this chrome piece and the fender. Okay, before I tighten them all the way down, I'm going to go ahead and get all 4 of them in. Okay. Fender's tight, everything's on. And I did buff this out, the fender. I did buff them scratches out pretty much on that fender. All right, so that's going to do it for the front wheel, fender, brake install. All I have left is to put my chrome dressing on. I got it over there, but it's broken and stuff. So my new stuff's coming. And then we're going to move on and probably start tackling that. All right, that'll do it for the front wheel install on my 2002 GL1800 Goldwing. I'm going to be moving on to another project after this. I'm probably going to be putting the rest of it together. You can probably see in the background where I already have some of it assembled and done, but I just had to piece these videos I've been doing together to make this series. So I wanted to put an ending on the video. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you coming along and watching. Look for the next video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Leave me a comment. I'd sure appreciate it. All right. Thanks for watching.